Hello there. You may notice that the Bad Batch unboxing was already uploaded. This is a re-upload to correct some editing mistakes where I left out part of the video, and so that one's on me. I will, however, also add that one of the things I talk about here in this video is Omega and how her text doesn't match the new rule set. I want to point out that has been brought to my attention that has been corrected in the new rules. She now allows the unit to contest at a longer range. So again, always read the rules. And with all that being said, enjoy the Bad Batch unboxing.
Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are looking at the Bad Batch for Star Wars Legion today, and it is a very fun day because we don't get too many new expansions for Star Wars Legion these days, not compared to how many we used to, and it's always exciting to take a look at the Bad Batch. These guys are going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to open them up. If you guys are new here to the channel, be sure to stick around. Be sure to click that subscribe button to see more Star Wars Legion content, as well as lots of other Star Wars tabletop games. We do have an entirely new edition of Star Wars Legion that we're covering. We've got more battle reports. My next one is one that's going to be coming out fairly soon that I'm putting a lot of effort into, wow. This is all just one sprue. Can you believe they got 6 different characters on one tiny sprue? It is unbelievable. Very cool. Look at this thing. We're also going to look at the cards and stuff, don't worry. We're also going to put these together and take a look at them. I see Omega's head there. I see helmets. I don't think we have non-helmeted options for these guys. I think it's only helmets. Which is fine. I prefer not to have to paint faces if I can really help it. So that is certainly good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases in here, it looks like. So Bad Batch, 6 bases. We've got our little rules insert here. Well, not really a rules insert, but like a credits sheet. So there we go. Big thanks to everybody who helped bring that to us. And then, of course, the instructions will be online for building and assembling them. And let's go ahead and take a look at the cardboard. Here we go. We've got tokens and Rebel and Republic cards, because you can run these guys in both. And let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. All right, so we've got the Bad Batch card here. They are 160 points for the Republic. They have 0 miniatures. They are an operative. So this is a very unique and interesting style of unit here. 2 health per, 3 courage, no surge, speed 2, DC 17, hand blaster, range 1 to 2, black and white. And for range, they're rolling a red die for their advanced combat training. They have no upgrades other than heavy weapons, but they do have 5 heavy weapons upgrades. And they can only take those 5. They have to take all 5 because of the equip keyword. They have to equip Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair. We're going to take a look at those guys in just a second, but the unit itself has Impervious, Scale, Steady, Sharpshooter 1, and the We're Not Regs keyword. We're Not Regs says they can't spend green tokens on other clones, and other clones can't spend theirs. Fire support can't be used on this unit. So fire support's not really a big deal anymore because fire support is almost been removed from the game. There's a little bit of stuff that gives fire support, but yeah, that's not really that much of an issue. I am curious though with the new exemplar units, if a clone leader happens to have exemplar, I still don't think that Bad Batch can get it because this says it cannot. However, we would have to defer to whatever the updated rules text for We're Not Regs is, because typically the helper text here is just reminder text from generally what it does, but it's not meant to be the authority. So always check out the actual rules because they will update from time to time. Let's look at the little mini guys. All right, so here we've got 3 of the mini cards here. We've got Crosshair, Echo, and Tech. Crosshair has a weapon of range 1 to 5, a red die. And if the attack is only using that, it gains critical 1. He also has high velocity, pierce 1, and precise 1. So he's doing a lot with aims. And you're going to, of course, he's going to work well with Tech because Tech gives you cash, aim 1, dodge 1 also in the cash, and tactical 1. So you can get an aim for moving or standing still. Well, standing still, you can spend the caches, and then when you're moving, you can gain extra aims from tactical 1. Echo gives you reliable 3, so Echo is going to work well all of the time. Of course, the trick with a unit like this is because since each individual member adds so many different things, you have to choose when you do start to assign wounds where they're going to go. And it's very tricky. It's like you might say, well, Echo just gives us reliable 3, but we're going to be spending those tokens to stay alive. So once Echo goes, the whole unit's going to go that much faster. Tech, you want to make sure you spend the aim and dodge on him first, and then maybe you can let him go. Tactical 1's still really useful, but if you've already spent the aim and dodge cash, then you're only losing like half as much, right? Crosshair is going to be, real easy to get rid of if you happen to be in close quarters with enemies. Like if you have to move to the center of the battlefield, then that long range weapon means a little bit less, but it's still, you're still getting Pierce 1 on there, and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool stuff. Now we also have Hunter and Wrecker. Hunter's the leader, so, of course he can't die first. And he has this ability of a free action where you can choose a trooper in line of sight. It can't be a commander or operative. You can roll a black die and they suffer a wound, which is a new thing they've been doing lately with some of the heavies that are in like some of the new units that are going to be coming out soon. And they're doing it here too. Where it's just automatic wounds that your opponent can't defend against. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but at least it's not like all over the place. But yeah. So there's Hunter, and then Wrecker has 3 health, so you might be tempted to put wounds on Wrecker first because it'll take 3 wounds before you remove your first miniature. However, he does add a nice little attack that gives you extra dice. So you're losing dice out of your dice pool when you lose him, more so than you would lose elsewhere. So that is something to keep in mind. Also, he can't be assigned wounds. Omega cannot be assigned wounds when you have Wrecker. Let's take a look at Omega. Now, Omega here is a counterpart to the Bad Batch, but she can only go in Rebel squads. And she also has the I'm part of the squad 2, which allows her to do claim and sabotage repair actions. And I'm sure she'll probably be errated because of sabotage repair isn't a thing anymore. But yeah, so I'm curious what they're going to do with that. But yeah, and she also has her little energy bow, which is range 2 and 2 white. So she's not really quite as useful as she used to be. If you had her, so like they just came out here. This whole expansion was supposed to have been out a couple of weeks ago. And like my pre-order got delayed because our store didn't get them. So I never got a chance to play the Bad Batch and the old rules. So I'll have to wait until the new, we're using them now with 2.0. And then there's the Rebel version of the Bad Batch. And this one's a little bit different. They still have Scale, Steady, and Sharpshooter 1, and We're Not Regs. Although We're Not Regs won't really be much of an issue in the Rebels. However, they're 140 points. They're a little cheaper. They have 1 less heavy. So, in other words, you cannot take Crosshair. Because you can only take Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, and Tech in this one. But you do have the option to take Omega. So you can still get an extra person, although she has 1 less health because of the 1 there. But I think that's why they made it a little cheaper in that regards. Now, we're not done with cards yet because there is also a... We Do What We Do card. And this is the only command card they have. It's just this one. It's a 3-pip. It says, this round, while the Bad Batch contains Hunter, they increase their speed by 1. While they contain Ek, they gain Tactical 1. While they gain Echo, they gain Reliable 1. While they contain Crosshair, they gain Precise 1. While they have Omega, they gain Inspire 1. And when it has Wrecker, their weapons gain Suppressive. Their weapons. And now this one is interesting, because that sounds like all of their weapons. So if you were to split fire, that's a ton of suppression you can put out there. You can have, and this one's really interesting because, depending on regardless of which faction, although I think it sounds really cool if you're running these guys on the Republic, because Crosshair's got that range 5 weapon that could be now range 5 sniper suppressive. And then you've got the Bad Batch's main hand blaster themselves. And then, of course, you've also got Wrecker. So that's like 6 suppression that you could potentially put out there. So very cool stuff. A lot of options for 2 different factions. I like dual faction packs, which is very cool. We also have some minis to put together and look at. So let's do that. All right, so let's take a look at the Bad Batch all assembled here. We've got Tech getting ready to push the big red button. We've got Hunter here. We're getting ready to stab. We've got Omega here. This one was a pain in the butt to put together because she was like the thinnest plastic, so things just didn't want to, the head didn't want to sit on the very, very narrow shoulders. We've got Wrecker here, who's definitely got the biggest shoulder pads of any human I've ever seen in Legion so far. Although he does look much smaller by comparison. If you look to his animated version, it's still more of a realistic proportions. That's one of the things. And here's Crosshair. It's kind of interesting choice though with Crosshair to be holding the sniper rifle down like that. But I think it's kind of cool. Like he's walking, getting ready to get set up, and then Echo is right here with his little I don't know what is on his hand there. I don't know why they couldn't give him like a normal hand, but instead they gave him a little droid interface. It'd be nice if he had like fingers that he could also be like, oh, hold on, and then just bare knuckle it like that. I don't know, but so a lot of people I've seen a lot of people saying like, why did they go with, why didn't they make them look like they do in the cartoon? And the reason for that is that, well, frankly, if we look at like some of the artwork here, the Bad Batch and Legion's style is a little bit more realistic art style and slightly more realistic proportions. And so since these guys were only ever really seen in animated, they had to try to come up with like a realistic version of them that would be a little bit less cartoony, because then otherwise it would contrast towards the other stuff. Like if you look at Dooku in like the Clone Wars, he's got that really, really big, pronounced, over-exaggerated beard versus the Legion one, which is more based off of the movies and stuff. So like there's two different art styles, and they've kind of leaned more towards movie art style. And since these guys were never in a movie, they had to kind of imagine, well, how might they look if they were in a movie? And I think that's where they came up with this kind of compromise of still mostly human, but a little bit broader of shoulders and stuff like that, which I think it's reasonable. It's reasonable, and I'm looking forward to getting them on painted up, and we'll go from there. All right, this has been a big look at the Bad Batch. I'm liking it so far. It looks great. Biggest problem I have is that the Rebel version, if you're running Omega, it's probably going to feel kind of bad because you don't really have the ability to use claim and sabotage currently. I do hope that new objectives come out that actually make her worthwhile, because she seems like she was a very like Legion 1.0 card only, and she's kind of been left out of 2.0. So hopefully either they'll errata Omega, or they'll come up with new objectives that make it more in line for her to be part of, because there's definitely certain things that we're missing from 2.0, like especially like the little supply deck. I don't know if you've ever played that one, the hidden cache one, and you get all those really cool cards like the Bacta and stuff like that. It'd be really cool if she could help grab those. But all in all, I think it's probably going to be more of a Republic faction. For people who want to run Republic and run Bad Batch, it's probably going to work a little bit better there than for the Rebels. But it's still cool to have options. So very cool stuff. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and out of this world. And look for early access, battle reports, and more on Patreon. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And always wash your socks.